I'm in the backyard picking up a shovel, and I'm doing this for some dramatic effect. I'm at the back of my property by the fence line. It slopes down. We're trying to reclaim part of this wild brush area so that we could expand our garden, and there is a big root system left over here from a tree that we cut down, and I'm going to do some digging here. These roots go deep. And I've been every day doing a little bit in terms of trying to get underneath these roots so I can get them out. As I've been doing that, I've been recognizing that the roots go deep. And it just reminded me how sometimes we have automatic negative thoughts that they just go deep. And for us to really get at them, we have to chip away at the stone every day. We've got to do a little bit of work to try to chip away at the stone. And so in terms of what's going on right now, there's some seriously kind of moments we're having. So I'll try to see what comes up here. Seriously? I've got post-concussion syndrome? Seriously? I just turned 50? Where did all the time go? Seriously, no way. There's a pandemic? COVID-19? There's no toilet paper? Seriously? Come on, get out of these roads here. Seriously? We have to line up when we go out to the stores? Seriously, the first announcement that school would only be out for a couple weeks after March break has been extended. First to April 1st or April 5th, and now it's, what, seriously? It's May, and a number of us were wondering, is the school year done? Is it all online? So that was my attempt to create some drama. I'm going to come down from the hill now. I don't want to slip, it's wet. So in terms of getting some of those roots out though, today is a little bit more conducive to that because it's not a scorching hot day. It's a wet day. It rained last night. This kind of loosens up the soil. Something to keep in mind when we want to get rid of those roots. Gonna grab my to-go teacup here, take a sip, and say, salutations. Welcome to Spiritual Blizzards, Philosophical Ponderings, and Everything Ramblings at the Hopeful Humanist Cafe. I'm your host, Steve, the Hopeful Humanist. Today we're going to talk about ideas and flow, the good life, and resources for our spiritual toolbox. I've got my crumple notes here. Going to take them out. Sounds of life going on. I love it. So the t-shirt idea for today, no biggie. The mantra, chip away at the stone. The name of the episode, seriously? Oh my God. A Sanity Quickie. So the title itself is kind of a prescription of our current COVID-19 predicament. I kind of captured the seriously part already through that dramatic creation. It's seriously is kind of the moment that many of us, or moments that many of us have been facing when we find ourselves saying like, no way. It's a recognition of the absurd, and really it's a list of grievances about what's going on. And these moments can definitely be overwhelming. So we need something to get us through this. We need some hope. So I'll call on Emily Dickinson here, and she has this quote to share with us. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches within the soul. As I was, I guess I should avoid This is where the heat's coming out of the house. We're doing some laundry downstairs. You could probably hear the rain. So I was a couple days ago digging up those roots, and I just thought, this is really a metaphor for automatic negative thoughts, how deeply they go right now. Probably have a whole bunch of collective fears and worries, like, when is this thing going to be over? Will we ever get back to reality? Is there ever going to be a normalcy again? Or what's the future holding? And uncertainty is an incredible source of stress. When we don't know what's going to happen, when we can't anticipate what's going to happen, there's a whole bunch of stress that we experience. And in terms of those roots, I feel like I have a tool that's been helping me in terms of digging up those roots of those automatic thoughts that come so easily when we find ourselves struck down by reality, this COVID-19 predicament. And the answer I found that I've been turning to stand up to this is, it's not, oh my God. No, it's more like a breath. Oh my God. And this is a Sanity Quickie, so I'm hoping to keep this one a little bit short. Definitely a play on words. I hope both of them, the oh my God and Sanity Quickie, I hope it's not offensive to anyone. I think it's in good taste because it captures some things. So what is oh my God? What is an oh my God moment, and what could the benefits be of scheduling G.A.A.D into our lives? Well, I first want to say that I think that the payout is twofold in terms of oh my God. It allows us to stand up to ants, to dig up those deep-seated roots and chip away at the stone. And number two, it's just one element in the mindful creation of a healthy daily routine. I think right now many of us are having a difficult time dealing with this transition and creating structure in our lives, and this could be one element in that, in the creation of a healthy daily routine. So what does the acronym G.A.A.D stand for? Well, the first one is gratitude, especially in terms of my concussion, but in addition to this compounded period of uncertainty and intensified stress, gratitude is an important aspect of creating optimism in one's life and elevating, even if it's just by degrees, our level of happiness. And there's many research projects in positive psychology that demonstrate that practicing gratitude and being specific, like specifically, what are you grateful for? And if you can, journal the things that you're grateful for. That there are incredible health benefits and psychological benefits and even physical benefits. So each day, finding a moment, either with yourself or with someone else, where you review the things that you're grateful for. The first A is acceptance. And I think that one of the things that helps me in terms of dealing with things that just are really uncomfortable is reminding myself that in terms of acceptance, a great way to kind of give context to the challenge we're facing is reminding ourselves at this point. So at this point, there's a human predicament that's impacting the world globally. We have the COVID-19 pandemic. At this moment, at this point, mountains and valleys, roses and thorns. Nothing lasts. Life itself is transient. It flows. And so there will be another point. But at this point, we're dealing with a real uncomfortable reality. And if we can remind ourselves of the things that we have control over and the things that we don't, it really helps us orient ourselves in terms of getting through the difficult time. And I would suggest the Serenity Prayer. But additionally, I'm going to share a resource that I think is quite helpful. It's called Take It Like a Stoic, and I think it really does flesh out the acceptance muscle's ability to help us weather through stormy periods. The next is achievement or accomplishment. I think every day we are doing things that we should be proud of, whether we refer to them as 2-second victories or little wins. Every day we're getting check marks. And I think we've got to just remind ourselves that, if we're feeling depressed because we're isolated, that simply getting out of bed is an act of courage. Opening up the window curtains is a great way of letting the sun shine in if the sun's out, getting our vitamin D. That eating an apple, eating something healthy, that all these things will feed the fire of good mental health. And we need to somehow create a moment where we can list these daily achievements, these daily accomplishments. And lastly, we get to desire. And I'm not talking about the unconscious, impulsive, clinging and craving, but a more deliberate, conscious reflection about what we ought to embrace in our lives so that we can be happy, healthy, and positive. And I think one of the things that I desire is to have happy, healthy, positive relationships with the people that are near and dear to me. My wife, my beautiful boys, my mom, my family, my friends. And during these times, because of cabin fever, we might bump up against one another. And because I desire to have happy, healthy, positive relationships, it's a reminder to practice these things like I feel I need statements. So we take ownership for our feelings and responsibility for our feelings. And that when we do have some conflict, that we do the best we can to, as immediately as possible, to reconnect. Right? So each and every day, I have been for weeks scheduling G.A.A.D into my day. And I believe that there could be some benefits to others. And because it's been extremely helpful for me, I'd like to invite you to experiment by scheduling G.A.A.D into your lives, by anchoring the moment into perhaps a particular part of your day. Perhaps it's the morning when you wake up and you open up the curtains. Maybe it's at lunch when you're doing gratitude for the meal before you or who's provided it. Maybe it's going for a walk with a friend or a loved one. Maybe it's at night during settling time if you have kids. But that at some point you would explore the terrain of what you're grateful for. Remind yourself about the at this point reference in terms of accepting the reality that's before us. List your achievements, the little wins, the 2-second victories, and create some self-concordant goals where you look inwardly, recognize what it is that you desire and you ought to bring into your life, and then to set about it, creating an action plan to do that very thing so that the next day you have some goals to look forward to working on. And when you accomplish those goals, then you can give yourself a check mark for the accomplishment. So check out the resource that I've attached about how to take it like a stoic during this COVID-19 predicament, pandemic that we find ourselves in. And I think it's going to help you to hone that acceptance muscle. They have some interesting discussions about how to journal like a stoic and the benefits of journaling, and this thing called negative visualization. So I'm trying to share some succinct thoughts that I guess maybe they aren't still as succinct as maybe they could be. But nonetheless, it's I'm trying to provide some thoughts that can help us get through these difficult times. And I think the T-shirt would be no biggie. It's no biggie. I mean, if you can find 5 minutes in your day to schedule G.A.A.D, then there could be some incredible benefits. And I know that while it would seem we have lots of time, for many of us, we're just scrambling, trying to make sense of what's going on. And so perhaps I think it could be helpful for me to create a couple shorter episodes just to give you a quick thought to think about, something to carry with you through your day, and hopefully it might be helpful. So thank you for joining me here at the Hopeful Humanist Cafe with all the background sounds of life. I know it's been quite busy because I'm walking alongside from the back to the front of my house to stay out of the rain. As always, the conversation is ongoing and continuous. This is a tip of the iceberg moment. Peace, take care, and be well.